Okay, in previous class we discussed about preliminary need statement. Okay, so that is based on understanding of the problem. Okay, so in order to define need statement, you should understand the actual nature of the design problem. Okay, and again you should understand the design problem such that you are not restricting the possible solutions. Okay, you are not unnecessarily, you are not over defining the problem. Okay, so the preliminary need statement should be such that you are able to understand the actual nature of the problem. At the same time, you are not restricting the possible solutions. Okay, so that is the major consideration. So next, there are some other aspects related to understanding the actual nature of the problem. Okay, so this Eskimo 9 dot problem or this exercise also helps us to understand what mistake designers will usually commit. Okay, so here in Eskimo 9 dot problem, so you have to try to connect the 9 dots by four straight lines drawn without lifting the pencil or pen. Okay, so you have to connect these 9 dots without lifting your hand. Okay, you may use pen or pencil. Without lifting that, you have to. So you must be able to connect these 9 dots. Okay, is it possible for you to connect these 9 dots? Huh? You can try. Okay, so these are the 9 dots, 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay, so my question is it possible to connect all 9 points using 4 straight lines without lifting your hand while connecting? Okay, what is your answer? Is it possible? Okay, you can start typing your answer, yes or no. Okay, yes, it's possible. Okay, what about others? Okay, yes. Then, so everyone is saying it is possible to connect 9 dots. Huh? What about others? Okay, Akash, when it is possible to connect these 9 dots?
Yeah,
Akash. Uh,
Point and sorry, it's right line so we can connect it.
then, okay, when it is possible to connect these nine points?
Sir, by connecting the point 7, 8, and 9, 6.
By connecting the point?
The point starting from 7, 7, 8, 9. 6,
7,
9.
8, 9. Okay, so you are starting from here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first you are going to draw like this.
Sir, next towards the upside.
Next,
Towards upside.
like
6,
this.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, so like this. Then,
Sir, no, sir. Continuously we can
uh,
continuously we can connect like 7, 8, 9, 6, 3, 2, 1, 4, 5.
okay, it is difficult to follow your answer. Okay, Krishna Vaidya.
sir, chat ಅಲ್ಲಿ message ಮಾಡಿ
Huh?
sir.
When it is
Chat.
possible. Starting from corner point, going along the outer dots and at last join to the center one. Okay, so now I will join. Okay, so I can start from anywhere. Okay, so if I go for connecting like this, if I try to connect 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so one dot is left. So again, if I try to connect like this, so already 3 lines, this will be the fourth one. Again, this point is left out. Okay, so like this you can try to connect in different ways. Okay, so I am able to connect all 9 points by using 4 lines only when I move out of this boundary like this. Okay, so this is the first line, this is the second line, and this is the third line, and this is the fourth one. Okay, now I have used only 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. I am able to connect all 9 dots. Okay, what do you understand by this exercise?
There is a solution for every problem.
There is a solution for every problem. Okay, then other than that, Purna Chandra. ಏನ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ?
ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಸರ್, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ
ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್
ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ದೂರ ಹೋದ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಹಂಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು.
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಬ್ರಾಡರ್ ವೇ. ಓಕೆ, ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಓಕೆ, ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್? ನಂದನ್
ಸರ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಅಂದ್ರೆ
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು,
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೊತ್ತಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಓಕೆ, ಸುಹಾಸ್. What did you understand by this, or what do you learn by this exercise of connecting 9 dots using 4 lines?
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ.
ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, what you can understand by this exercise is, okay, we have to think beyond the boundary. Usually what we think about connecting these 9 dots within the boundary of these 9 points. Okay, the boundary defined by these 9 points, we are going to think within that. We don't think about going outside the boundary. Okay, and in the problem statement, nowhere it is mentioned that you should not extend the lines beyond this. Okay, nowhere they are mentioned, but we assume that we should not move outside this. Okay, so unnecessarily we will add few more restrictions which are not actually defined in the design problems. Okay, so this is what we can observe or we can learn from this Eskimo 9 dot problem. Okay, so that's why understanding the need properly in its actual nature is very critical. Otherwise, unnecessarily we will add few more constraints which make us to restrict ourselves to only few solutions rather than generating all possible solutions for a design problem. Okay, so this is the solution. Okay, next there is another problem. You can consider another example. Design of street doors of airport buildings. Okay, usually airport buildings are air conditioned, AC buildings, so you cannot kept the doors open. That will create more load on the air conditioning system. Okay, that's why doors should be kept closed. Okay, so this is the problem related to designing door of airport building. Airport building are usually, so they are air conditioned. If you go for opening the door always, okay, the problem is that will result in a heavy load on the air conditioning system. Since when outside air is entering the building, okay, so it has to cool that air also, then more load will be on the air conditioning system. That's why you cannot keep the door open always. Okay, now there's another problem. When passengers enter the airport, usually they will enter with luggage bags. Okay, so like this, they have to both the ends of the passengers most of the times are having load. So that means they are either using this type of trolleys or they may be having heavy luggage like this. So now the problem is by using hand they cannot open the door. Okay. So now as a designer, what are the possible solutions for this problem? Okay, you have to design a door such that passengers must be able to enter easily. Okay, at the same time, the door should not be kept open always. It should be opened only when passengers enter in front of the door or come in front of the door. This is the design problem. Okay, what are the possible solutions for this? Okay, I can start typing your answer. Okay, by using sensor doors. Next, using automated doors. Okay, next, others. So other than using automated doors, what are the other possible solutions you can thought of? Sending inside in batches. Okay. Okay, again, in transformation phase, you must be able to generate as many as solutions possible. For this problem, you are only relying on only one solution. That is by using sensors, designing an automated door. Again, same answer. Can't you generate, can't you think out of this automated door solution? What are the other possible solutions other than having automated door opening system? So ನೀವು ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ಹೋದಾಗ ಬರೀ automated doors ಮಾತ್ರ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ? What are the other solutions already implemented? Okay, by appointing doorkeeper. Okay, that is a good answer. You can see in 5-star hotels. Okay, there will be a doorman. When customers go in front of the door, he will open. Okay. Then other than that, automatic door puller. Okay. So here, if we usually what happens is similar to the Eskimo 9 dot problem. When we come across a problem statement, immediately we go for finding a solution, and at times we restrict our thinking to only one particular solution. Like in this case, most of you have thought about using automated door system. Okay, automated door which work based on sensor. When there is a passenger, okay, in that fixed proximity, door will be kept open. Okay, when he leaves that location, okay, so then door will automatically get closed. So that is the most of the people will think about this solution only. But there are other possible solutions also, like what Akash has said. Okay, you can, instead of having automated door system, you can keep a doorman. Okay, so that you can provide some employment opportunities. At the same time, you can satisfy ego of some of the customers or some of the passengers. Okay, they want to get respect from people. Okay, so that is how we can satisfy the ego of some of the dignified people. Okay, so who want respect from others. So that is another possible solution. Like that, you can think various solutions. One is automatic door opening system like this. Okay, you can make use of electric operated by motors. Okay, or you can use pneumatic operated door systems. Okay, when any passenger or customer enter near the door, okay, sensor will detect his presence, then signal will be sent for opening the door. Okay, similarly, when he moves out away from the door, okay, again sensor will detect that and it will send another signal. Okay, so then door get closed. That is one possible solution. This is the usually thought solution. Okay, another one is, as Akash told, you can keep a doorman. Okay, usually in most of the hotels, in 5-star hotels or 3-star hotels, they usually keep doorman. Okay. Next, there is another possible solution. You can also think about using curtains. Okay, fabric curtains, which without okay, so putting more pressure or more load. Okay, so passengers can enter these curtains. Okay, they will get open. Okay, so if it is a curtain, it is not a rigid structure. Okay, so that even though they are having a load, okay, or they are having luggage in both of their hands, curtain. This is another possible solution. Here we are not thinking whether the solution is feasible or not. We are not worried about feasibility of any of the solution. We are only thinking the possible ways. Okay, they may be feasible, may not be feasible, but you must be able to generate as many solutions as possible. Okay, that is the and that is about understanding problem and generating solutions. Okay, these are the two solutions. Other solutions than having automated door system, just provide a doorman who closes and opens the door. Even a door is not an essential requirement. One could use alternatives such as transparent airproof fabric curtain. Okay, next, there is another problem. Okay, you know the problem related to storing grains in a warehouse. Even if this will happen in our house also, in home. Okay, if you store food grains, okay, or any other food items, okay, usually there will be problem of this mice or even cockroaches. Okay, so like that, few animals and insects will eat them, will destroy the grain stored in warehouse. Okay, this is a problem related to uh, grain being destroyed by mice in warehouse. Okay, in warehouse, grains will be stored in gunny bags or in plastic bags like this, one over the other. The problem is these mice are ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಜ್ಞಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ನುಗ್ತವೆ, so they will destroy the grains. Okay, how we can solve this problem? Again, you can start typing the answer by keeping rat poison and rat bones. Okay, then okay, what are the other possible solutions to using mice trap? Then keeping keeping cat, okay, pet cats. Okay, that is also a good idea. In houses we follow that idea. Okay, usually in villages we'll follow this. We'll okay, so have cats in our house so that they will eat rats. Okay, building strong wall. Okay, without any ventilation. Okay, then provide food source for rat. Okay, that is very difficult. You can try. That is a possible solution. Yes, you can make food available outside the warehouse itself, so that it will eat there itself and it will go back. Okay. Usually, again, it is the same problem like what we discussed in Eskimo 9 dot problem. This is the problem of securing the grains from mice. It is not the problem of killing mice. Usually, what we thought of using poison and okay, so killing mice, or we thought about using bones and okay, and catching these rats or mice. Okay, this is why we think about these solutions is these are already used solutions, already available solutions, and we are used to it. That's why most of the times we restrict our thinking to already available solutions. We don't think beyond that. Okay, that is the problem whenever we go for solving any design problem. We stick on to the available solutions or conventional ideas. We don't think out of the box. Okay. So, but here most of you have given variety of solutions. Okay, so that is good also. So instead of considering this problem as that of exterminating mice, that means killing mice, if the designer considers it as protecting the grain from mice, vast variety of design concepts can be thought of. Okay, if you think only about how effectively we can kill rats or mice, then it is not possible for you to generate innovative ideas for solving this problem. Okay. So this is one such solution thought of. Okay, so that is using sirens. Okay, most of the animals they are sensitive to sound. Okay, when you switch on the siren, or if you are able to send a signal. Okay, so siren, because of that sound, it may be possible. Again, it may not be the feasible one. This is another possible solution. With this sound, you may be able to keep these mice away from the warehouse. Okay, same strategy will be adopted by farmers if they are having a problem of elephants. Okay, this is a problem in Asan, in Alur and Sakleshpur Taluk. Okay, so usually elephants will come into villages or into coffee plantations or estates. There also they use firecrackers and other things to make sound. But even elephants become dumb. They don't worry about this kind of sounds. Okay, and even to keep monkeys and even peacocks or birds away from fields, paddy fields or maize. Okay, so different fields. Okay, so there also farmers usually make use of sounds. Okay, so they will somehow they will either use firecrackers or they will use other farms so that they will try to keep these animals, birds away by generating some noise. Okay, so this is also a similar solution, but since it is a warehouse and you can use advanced systems. Okay, you can try using or generating noise by using ultrasonic sirens, which work based on compressed air. By supplying compressed air, you are able to get noise from these sirens. A designer should identify in plain language the goals of design in such a manner that it does not propose a solution. Okay, so while reading a problem statement itself, if you restrict yourself to a particular solution, then that will restrict your innovative ideas. Okay, so you are able to generate one or two solutions instead of if even though it is possible for you to generate 6 to 8 solutions, you will restrict yourself to one or two. So the preliminary need statement should be as general as possible, while at the same time defines the essential nature of the problem. Okay, so about preliminary need statement. That means it is all about understanding the essential nature of the problem. So we discussed how a designer can try to understand essential nature of the problem with the help of Eskimo 9 dot problem. Then we considered an example of keeping mice away from the warehouse, and we also talked about problem of designing doors in airport. Okay, so these are the exercises which might have given us a theoretical approach. Okay, so to understand the essential nature of the problem. Next, analysis of need. Okay, so in this unit we are discussing about the exploring phase of the morphology of design. Okay, that is we till now we discussed about realization of need and preliminary need statement. Okay, next in this topic we are discussing about need analysis. Analysis of need is nothing but need analysis. Okay, so already we have understood in this step we are able to understand the actual nature of the problem. Now again we have to understand this problem in detail in the need analysis stage. In order to understand the problem in detail, so we think about specifications, standards of performance and constraints to satisfy the need. Okay, what are the expected specifications by the consumer or the management of the company? What are the standards of performance expected by the management of the company or by the consumers? And again, constraints. What are the constraints for a designer and what are the constraints for a user of the product, and what are the environmental constraints? Okay, so these are the things we are going to discuss in analysis of need. Okay, again, this will be done before going for finding solutions for the problem. Okay, so the reason is before going for finding solutions, first we must be able to understand the problem properly. Okay, otherwise we will end up with incorrect solutions. Okay, after understanding the essential nature of the problem, preliminary need statement, that is this essential nature of the problem is defined by preliminary need statement. If you have understood the essential nature of the problem, then you can go for writing the need statement or problem statement. Okay, the next step is to analyze that need to obtain as complete a definition of it as possible by identifying specifications, standards of performance and constraints, as we discussed in previous slide. Specifications means they are the functional requirements of a design. Okay, so if you consider a car or motorbike, okay, functional specifications may be, okay, what is its mileage? Okay, so how many kilometers per liter? Then what is the speed that you can achieve, maximum speed, okay, at which you can drive that vehicle safely. Okay, and again functional requirement may be what is the load carrying capacity of the vehicle. Okay, how many can sit in the car? Okay, so these are the functional requirements. Then standards of performance, it may be related to safety aspects of the product, or it may be related to user friendliness of the product and reliability of the product or quality of the product. Okay, so based on these things, usually standard of performance will be measured. Standards against which the competing designs can be judged. That means if you want to buy any car, so there are many options in front of a consumer. Then if you want to choose someone, you will be having some special reasons. It may be because of the brand image, okay, or it may be because of the quality of the product, okay, so or because of the feedback obtained from users of that particular product. Okay, so these aspects will come under standards of performance. Okay, resources available to designer and user. Okay, as a designer or as an engineer, you are worried about resources. For a designer, resources are, or for any company, resources are 3 M's. Okay, which are the 3 M's which mechanical engineers are worried about? 3 M's.
Man, machine, money.
Man, machine and money. Okay, so these are the resources. You may have very good design idea, but if company doesn't have enough money to invest in your idea, okay, then what is the use? That's why money is a major constraint. Then again, you may design a product, but also if there is enough money, company can buy machines or new technology. But the problem is, if there are no skilled laborers to operate those machines or to make use of the recent technology, then what is the use? You have to think about manpower also. Okay, then again, machines also, what are the available machines? Okay, so if companies tell you that you must design such that it can be fabricated, it can be produced with the help of available facility, then that is also a concern. Next, user. Okay, after purchasing the product, user also may need some of the resources. Okay, suppose if it is a electric car, then again charging stations, again service stations, whether they are available or not. Okay, so that is the constraint for designer, and he has to consider user constraints also. Okay, then environmental factors. Okay, so you know the work, some of the standards of performance. Okay, some of the parameters which decide, or some of the factors which decide standard of performance also vary depending on the environmental conditions. Okay, next we'll discuss this specification, standard of performance and constraints by considering some examples. Okay, before that I will take 1 minute break. You can answer for your attendance in poll. Okay, I have created. You can start answering for your attendance in poll. Okay, so in early class also we considered the same example to understand reliability and brand value, why brand value is important. Okay, so why customers usually prefer brand value. Okay, so now if you consider the product as t-shirt, what are the specifications of a product called t-shirt? What are the specifications? When you go for buying a t-shirt, what are the things that you look into? Size. Okay, then quality, fit,
Cost.
okay. Cost. Okay, so these are the specifications: cost, size of the t-shirt, then quality of the t-shirt. Quality may not come under specification, it will come under standard of performance. Okay, brand. Okay, then okay, now you can understand specifications. Okay, size of the t-shirt. Okay, it may be in inches or it may be X, XL, double XL, like that sizes will be specified. Okay, then color might be another specification. Okay, color of the t-shirt, size of the t-shirt. Okay, so these are the specifications. Then if you look into standard of performance. Okay, so already we discussed about standard of performance, standards against which the competing designs can be judged. That means which one do you prefer? Okay, specifications are cost, size, and color of the t-shirt. Next, which one do you prefer? Okay, in early class we told you are going to prefer the branded one. The reason is, again, you are looking at standard of performance. Okay, what is the quality of the t-shirt? Then usually since quality is in most of the times in market, quality is associated with brand value of a product. Okay, so you go for this product. Again, if you are worried more about cost, suppose if this unbranded one is costing less, Okay, then you will buy this one. Okay, next, what is the functional requirement of t-shirt? What is the functional requirement? So functional requirement is it has to cover the body. Okay, so that is the functional requirement. Why we wear clothes? Okay, so it has to cover our body. Okay, so then other than that, we may look into aesthetic aspects. Whether if we wear a particular t-shirt, okay, how others will look at us. Okay, then maintenance. Next, there's another example. Okay, so do you think the factors need to be considered? The functional requirement for both the cases to these are load carrying vehicles, trucks. Okay, so which type of trucks these are? So you can see two different types of trucks. Okay, what is the purpose of this truck? These trucks, where it is used?
Army.
These are used in
Army.
army. Okay, so these are used in
Commercial purpose.
commercial purpose. Okay. Now, what are the constraints for a designer if he is designing a truck uh, for uh, for if that truck is used in army or military? Okay, what are the constraints for a designer? Okay, if you consider Indian Army, okay, so these trucks are used in Ladakh, okay, Kashmir. So you know the temperature at which these trucks must operate. Okay, at times it may be -5, 10 degrees Celsius. Okay, at times it may be 25 to 30 degree. Okay, so weather conditions, protection against severe damage. Okay, so that means again these are the constraints will be posed by user. So here this truck user of this product called truck is Indian Army. Okay, you have to consider the user constraints. They are using this truck in very adverse situations, so it may be climatic adversaries or it may be because of security aspects. Okay, now as a designer, which one is more problematic or more challenging, whether to design it for Indian Army or for general commercial purpose? Okay, Army. Okay, so you know the consequences when you are designing for Army. So challenges are more because constraints are more. Okay, so that's why as a designer you must be worried about standard of performance, specifications and constraints. Okay, by looking at all these aspects, then only it is possible for you to understand the actual nature of the problem. Okay, next we can understand realizing the specifications by considering another example. Okay, design of blackboard for schools and colleges. Okay, do you think designing blackboard itself is a complex activity or complex task? Do you think it is easy or it is difficult to design a blackboard? Huh? Blackboard is a very simple product. What are the challenges for a designer? If you want to think about designing a blackboard, what are the challenges? Or what are the specifications required before finalizing the design of blackboard? ಏನೇನು ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ? ಯಾರೋ ನನಗೆ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಬೇಕು ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಆಸ್ ಎ ಡಿಸೈನರ್, ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಯುವರ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಒನ್ ಹೂ ಕನ್ವೇಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಎ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್? ಏನೇನು ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಯಾರಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ? ಸೈಜ್, ದೆನ್ size of the blackboard, dimension. Okay, next, other than size, should not reflect contrasting color. Okay, that means whatever that is written on the blackboard must be visible to students in a class. Okay, then
Surface roughness.
surface roughness. Okay, that means it must be user friendly. Okay, so teacher or lecturer must be able to write with less amount of pressure. Okay, with less effort, they must be create an impression on the blackboard. Okay, then so you are leaving another very important aspect. Okay, so you can understand what you left by looking at this. Okay, if you design a blackboard like this, what is the problem? Huh? What is the problem with that image? What they were doing? They are using ladder. Height. Okay, so that means what is the height? That means maximum reach and minimum reach. That also you have to consider. You should also consider the height of the teacher. Okay, you know, some are tall and some are dwarf. Next, the question is whom do you satisfy? What is the height that you are going to consider? Okay, what is the minimum height and what is the maximum height? And then what is the dimension? Again, there's a problem. The size of the blackboard required for a mathematical teacher is different from the size of the blackboard required for a Kannada or English teacher, who will require larger blackboards, large size blackboard. Again, those who are doing derivations, mathematics, okay, they will demand for very large size blackboard. Okay, and some teachers will say, okay, if the size is small, that is sufficient for us. The next question is, whom do you satisfy? Okay, now we are able to realize the specification of blackboard. One is the size or area of the board. Okay, what must be its length and breadth. Okay, next another specification is what should be the height. Okay, maximum reach, that is height to which a lecturer can reach or a teacher can reach. Then another is another is so minimum reach of the faculty. Okay, so this should be considered. Okay, this is an example where this type of board was used by scientists, okay, in NASA during 1957. They want to make complex calculations. Okay, for that they thought the conventional boards are not sufficient. That's why they designed a very large board so that they can do all calculations related to their project on a single board and they can analyze. Okay, but this cannot be done in a classroom. Okay, if teachers started using these ladders, you know what students are going to do. Okay, so that's why you cannot think about doing the same thing in a classroom. Okay, these are the specifications: minimum area required, then maximum top height, which teachers can reach, minimum bottom height which teachers can reach. Again, if someone is tall, for them maximum reaching maximum top height is easy, but again for them reaching minimum bottom height is difficult. For one who are dwarf, okay, so for them reaching bottom height is very easy, whereas reaching top height is difficult. So it is difficult to satisfy all. Okay, it is difficult to satisfy the need of all. Okay, then you have to arrive at some values. Okay, for that what you are going to do is you are going to consult all teachers, or if it is conveyed by the management of a school or college, they will consult all teachers. They will take feedback by using Google form or by interviewing all teachers. Okay, they will take the opinion and teachers will write a particular value. Okay, this size board we require, this is the top height, this is the bottom height we can reach. Okay, based on that, based on the feedback from the teachers, okay, so you are going to plot a graph. that is the area requirement, that is plotted x-axis, and number of teachers required that particular area, okay, that will be in the y-axis. Based on this, you are going to plot a graph, and it will be in this bell shape. Okay. Next, if it is a normal distribution curve, then you can go for applying the sigma. Okay. If you are able to satisfy this range, okay, that is plus or minus 1 sigma, you are able to satisfy 68% of teachers. If you go for having a board size which is in the range of plus or minus 2 sigma, you are able to satisfy 95% of the teachers. If you go for plus or minus 3 sigma, you are able to satisfy 99% of the teachers. Okay. So here again, for every value or for every point in the graph, there will be a particular value of area. Okay, that is not mentioned here. Okay. Here what you can understand is, it is not possible for a designer to satisfy need of all. Then what is the best option left is, you have to decide, I am able to satisfy how many teachers. Okay, what is the, on an average, you must try to satisfy, you must work for benefit of large number of people than satisfying one or two exceptions. Okay. And again, if you try to satisfy all teachers, the problem is sufficient area may not be available in the classroom. The classroom size must be very, very large, that a college may not afford. Okay, it is not possible, may not be possible for a college to have a very large classroom. Okay, that's why it is not possible for a designer to satisfy the needs of all. Okay. So this is about maximum and bottom reach. Okay, so again it depends on height of the teacher, bottom reach of the tallest teacher. Okay, for him the bottom reach is difficult, since he is tall, he cannot bend his body. Okay, he cannot reach bottom. Top reach of the shortest teacher, for a shortest teacher, okay, so reaching maximum height is difficult. Based on this, you have to finalize on the size of the blackboard. Okay. Next, if you consider the standards of performance of blackboard, these are the things. Okay. Unacceptable mode of failure, breaking of board into splinters. That means since because of humidity during rainy season and during winter season. Okay, so if the quality of board is not proper, then there may be problem of breaking of board into splinters. Kannadadalli ನಾವು ಈ ಚಕ್ಲಿಕೆ ಹೇಳೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ, this will happen with walls also. Okay, so this is another unaccepted mode of failure on which designer has to concentrate. So this will decide the quality of your blackboard. Next, convenience in use. Pressure required to make impressions readable, erase with minimum effort. Okay, maintenance, minimum interval between repainting. Okay, so again, as we discussed, standard of performance will be based on quality, then user friendliness and constraints. Okay, sorry, not constraints, quality and user friendliness. Okay, so that is decided by these things, breaking of board into splinters. If this happens, then quality of the board is very poor. Okay, people don't accept this product. Again, this is related to convenience of use. Pressure should be less. Then easily it should, whatever written on the board must be erased easily. Okay, so then minimum interval between repainting. If this minimum interval between repainting is more, then that is desirable. Okay, instead of requirement of repainting for every 6 months, if it is after 2 years, then that will be preferred by the school or college management. Okay, next, railway track signaling device. Again, you can understand standards of performance by using another example of railway track signaling device. So that means when a rail enters station. Okay, so it will be either it will be made to stop or it will be permitted to enter the station based on a signal. Okay, so they will use red signal. Okay, so green signal. Again, this is about signaling device. So that means if a signaling device okay, unexpectedly if it stops in green, you know the consequences that will result in accident. Okay, even if the device is not working properly, it should be designed such that it will stops in red. Okay, if it stops in red, no problem. Train can wait. Delay may happen, but that doesn't result in accident. Okay, if the track signaling device fail by indicating green signal, then that will result in a lot of problems. Okay. Reliability, MTBF must be larger than the interval on the maintenance schedule. So MTBF means mean time between failures. Okay, that means after how many days failure of a particular product or device can takes place. Okay, so that is defined by the manufacturers of the device or by the product. Okay, for some it may be 1 year, for some products or some components it may be 6 months. Like that, it will be defined. Again, for most of the products or devices, failure will occur. No one can stop that, but the time interval must be specified by the company. Okay, so that the users of that particular product will take proper precautions to replace uh, that component. Okay, so in case of railway track signaling device, the mean time between failure must be larger than the interval on the maintenance schedule. That means if in the maintenance schedule, if it is mentioned that after every 3 months, okay, so one technician has to check whether everything is correct in the signaling device or not. If it is specified as 3 months, at any cost it should not fail within 3 months. Okay, so that is the meaning of reliability. Next, safety. Fail in the stop position. That means if the track signaling device is not working properly, it has to stop by indicating red signal, not green signal. Fail in the stop position. If it is red signal, train will stop, no problem. It may result in delay, but compared to having an accident, delay is preferable. Okay, fail in the stop position. Convenience in use. Okay, convenience of both signalman and locomotive driver, one who drives the rail. Okay, next constraints. So design of blackboard. Okay, so you have to consider the environmental factors, humidity, temperature. Okay, so resources, availability of space, budget. So these are the constraints for blackboard example. Okay, next I will continue in next class, Android in a hostel dining hall. Okay, this is the last topic of second unit. In second unit, you have only very few topics. Okay, so I will complete second unit in next class. Okay, if you have anything to ask,